And also, Mr. Speaker, before I proceed, I thank you also for your ruling. And this particular bill, Mr. Speaker, is requested to go to a special select committee. And within that committee, I know that we'll be able to deal with any issues which may presently lie in the bill that will cause any conflict with our Constitution. Despite that, Mr. Speaker, it is my belief that the timing of this bill, the Clerk of the National Assembly Bill 2012, Bill number 8, 2012, is not. The headlines of several newspapers and television newscasts have all alerted the nation to a predicted head-on collision between the government and the opposition. Additionally, sir, your warning to the Office of the President in relation to the President's threat of not assenting to bills passed by this esteemed body
I caution that we ought to avoid a constitutional crisis, but I will not in any way indulge in warnings to the Office of the President or any other constitutional law.
Thank you, sir. But it was described by the Sabbath News, sir, of Saturday, October 20th, 2012, as, and I quote, a firm sign of tension between the two branches of government. Mr. Speaker, this bill number 8 of 2012 must be placed in proper perspective. It has its origins not in the report of Sir Michael Davies, but from agreements made by the major political parties in Guyana since 19. By subsequent constitutional reforms passed in this honorable House, and by decisions made and recorded in the May 6, 2003 communique between the then President Jaglio and then Leader of the Opposition, Mr. Robert Corbyn, as well as their follow-up meeting on July 18, 2003. It was as a result of consensus that this Parliament be reformed to reflect the spirit and intention of our Constitution, and that this Parliament requested the assistance of the Commonwealth Secretariat. It was our request, sir, that resulted in the engagement of Sir Michael Davies, Senior Parliamentary Staff Advisor by the Commonwealth Secretary General, to carry on an assessment of the needs of the Guyana National Assembly. The report of Sir Michael Davies, which followed that engagement, presented many recommendations for the improvement of the functioning of this National Assembly, of this Parliament, including reinstating its independence and restoring its constitutional role as one of the three arms of the state, and not an appendage of the office of the President. It is obvious that the PPP, and more particularly the Office of the President, determined to maintain their unconstitutional domain of the legislature, conspired with the PPP legislators to ensure that a Guinness Book record of gestation was established in giving birth to a newly reformed National Assembly through the implementation of some of the recommendations of the Davies report. Mr. Speaker, human beings have a gestation period of 9 months for conception. I'm advised also that elephants have a period of 22 months. But sir, I'm not aware of any longer gestation period. But even if there were longer periods, I am sure, sir, none that last 50 years. Even if we take the May 6th communique as the time of conception, we are talking about 9 years. If we want to be generous and take the conception as the date that the recommendations were presented to this Parliament in 2003, that would still make a gestation period of 9 years. Perhaps the PPP in their quest for claiming records during their 20 years of government may want to add this to their achievement. These recommendations were endorsed by the previous PPP nominated Speaker of this House, Mr. Ralph Ramkaran, who had urged speedy implementation. Additionally, the Davies report was endorsed by this entire National Assembly, except for some minor objections by the PPP. What therefore is responsible for the prolonged delay in implementing many of its recommendations, including the one that this bill is attempting to implement? I have already given the answer. I believe, sir, that it was a conspiracy. However, the saying goes, better late than never. Perhaps the passage of this bill will help to prevent the predicted head-on collision that the media has predicted, and perhaps it would be the first test as to whether the President would hold good on his declared intention of not assenting to bills passed in this House. Time will tell, and the people of Guyana will be the judges. Mr. Speaker, I am of the opinion, and I am sure it is Guyanese, that the recommendations provided in this report receive the attention which it ought to have. We would not be experiencing some of the challenges we are presently experiencing. I need to re-emphasize to this Honorable House that the Michael Davies assessment report and recommendations were not foisted upon us by the Secretary General of the Commonwealth. Rather, they are recommendations unanimously agreed by all in this House after prolonged discussion, negotiation, and agreement. Today, however, Mr. Speaker, we have an opportunity, once again, to change the present counterproductive and unconstitutional path we are currently on. We can endorse one of the recommendations of the assessment of the needs of the Guyana National Assembly by Sir Davies by supporting this bill number 8 of 2012 and send it to a special